Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Rook community meeting for December 13th, 2022. Let's see if I can share my screen and we'll get this started. Let's see. Share screen. And there we go. Okay. So we'll start off with a quick project update. The 1.10. Well, first of all, 1.9, no other releases are planned there. I don't think we have any urgent fixes. There are a couple of fixes that I know have been backported in case we do another release, just to catch some updates there. But yeah, no planned release there. For 1.10, let's look at the project board, but I think in general, we're just, we did the 0.7 release. Was it last week, last Tuesday, and then I think we'll plan on it again just before the break next week. So probably Wednesday of next week, we'll plan on the 0.8 release to get all those latest updates. So in the 1.10 board, oh, this is 1.11. So 1.10 board, nothing in the blocking release column. Shubham is continuing to investigate this issue with controller expired certificates for the mission controller. I don't think that's blocking people. Workaround is to restart the operator. Let's see, things here in the to-do column. Nothing really stands out. Just things that would be good to fix.
Well, the object storage page doesn't load in a self dashboard. That by default might be something. I have a feeling it's from the fix that I implemented that we might need to hold the manager reconciliation basically, so that it's not in parallel, because the logic I implemented is basically accessing one of the object stores, or it's simply retrieving a dashboard password. So maybe there's like a race condition then going on that one has successfully the credentials set, and then the other one comes up and is getting like a blank results because both are running at the same time.
I'm saying there might be two object stores and we only get one of them. Okay.
Yeah, something around there. Yeah.
I think, as I recall, this issue, it affects some clusters, but other clusters work just fine. And
that's where it feels like a race condition.
Yeah, but even with one object store, I think I was able to repro it in Minikube, and it even with one object store, I couldn't get it to load in the dashboard. So
well, but then again, especially if you were able to reproduce it on Minikube, I think we need to take another look there. I think that my fix some time ago wasn't sufficient there.
Yeah, it's assigned to Jiffin, but I don't think he's looked at it for a while. So if you want to take a look at it, that would be nice.
Maybe
just to see.
Let me just create a PR here.
Oh yeah, a week ago I said it works in some clusters, but not others.
Feel free to assign me to it. I want to take a look at this, especially as I initially implemented something that fixed it, but seemingly, yeah, I have to check it. Okay. I think it's, as I said, I feel that it's probably like a race condition between the initial password being created for the user, then the reconciliation of the dashboard user, or like the dashboard happening at the same time or before or after, and it's just not really getting picked up correctly for some reason.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sounds good if you want to take a look. And other things. Yeah. Anything else there? We'll move on. So in the 1.11 board, oh wait, let me go back to the agenda. So yeah, that's 1.10. For 1.11, in the project board, we'll look at that in a minute. But we had been talking about mid-January for 1.11. And I'm going to make the proposal to move it to mid-February, just because with with the break coming up and some time off that I have at the end of January, I feel like there's no major features that we're really waiting to get out the door. So if we just wait another month, I guess, is there any concern with waiting on 1.11? Okay, so maybe for next meeting, I'll try and have a more firm date, but probably mid-February then. And now to look in the project board. Yeah, there are a few things in progress. I don't know if there's anything we need to discuss here though. The immutable object cache feels like it was really an advanced scenario where it will be difficult to implement that with the CS. It was more of a CSI driver question, I think. Yeah. I think it just represents we're in a stable project with a lot of features and things are additive. And so we've been really still adding features to the 1.10 release and backporting them just because they're not big and breaking at this point. Any other comments on releases 1.11?
Not really.
Yep. Okay. Then moving on to the community topics. So just a note on maintainer track for KubeCon Amsterdam, the submission is due by the end of January. So I'm kind of waiting for health guidelines and things to be published. Hopefully it'll be published by then so we can decide, are we going to be there in person, or as far as are we doing our talk in person or virtual? Fingers crossed for in person though, for sure. Yep. And then next topic, let's see, Google search for, oh yeah, so Alexander, this question you were looking into for getting the latest docs indexed. I don't know if we have an issue for that. We should open an issue to track it. So
let's open an issue to track it.
Yeah,
create one.
Yeah, with our old docs, I remember we had a tag in there that we only made the searchable. Let's see, what was it? I think only latest docs would be searchable by the search engines. I couldn't find what that label or tag was. Remember where that label was added in the old doc?
I don't know what kind of label or something that was added there.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll try and look for that again to see if that'll give a clue. But
was there already a GitHub issue? I think it might have been already. Yes.
I don't remember opening one. There could be though. It's probably in the repo for the website though. Right, so that's where the docs are published. That's probably where we should open an issue, at least, if it's not there.
Sure, I'll create one there.
Okay, so you'll create it.
Version documentation should not appear on Google on search engines.
Yeah, so I think we can take that offline now. That sounds good. I'll put an action item here for you to open that issue. Okay. Let's see, just a note to follow up from our last meeting, the Helm documentation generation PR was merged. So thanks for that effort to, yeah, someone on your team, Alexander, I forget his name.
Zahir.
Zahir, yes.
Great work from him there.
Yep, that'll be nice. And I think he's working on CRD documentation generation next, which will also be really nice. Last note I have here is that we'll probably cancel the meeting in 2 weeks due to the holidays. And yeah, I assume nobody's in or objects to that cancellation. So before I forget, I'll add a note up here, December 28th. Not 20, 27th. Canceled.
Yeah, no, go ahead from my side as well. Like, yeah.
Yep. Okay. And then let's see, other agenda items. Alexander, did you want to talk about your design questions? Or another day?
So I've created a PR. To be honest, it's not fully there yet where I would like it to be, because at least it's like I've wrote it now. Like there, for example, there's a summary section still where it's like, for example, that's how I'm currently seeing this feature. I see this as something more of that will maybe be coming in the future. It will, well, obviously be like a huge change. And especially because of that, might be something for really just like when we talk about like the future of Rook, I guess, to put like that. And like at least I guess regarding the concept, from my side, I kind of came to the understanding of like that I think there should be then, so to say, 2 layers, where the one is like the management layer, if you will, so, and the second is like the executive, or like the one that like actually creates daemons or work Ceph components in the cluster. That it's basically to some degree decoupled. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm having a hard time seeing how we would. So you're saying that is it like a separate controller in the operator that would handle the Ceph cluster CR, or we would even have different CRs for controlling each of the individual daemons?
A bit of both. That makes sense. So you would technically have this layer of like we're still with the Ceph cluster object in mind as well, where you say I want 5 disks, for these 5 disks in this node to be used. And all the operator would do is either like even discover them or take care of creating the necessary persistent volume claims, or even just passing down the persistent volume claim templates to the Ceph OSD object that is then created, kind of as like an abstraction layer. I think one of the, I guess, more broad examples I kind of picked up on from when Ceph had like file store and blue store, that, for example, through this method, at some point you could really just change the OSD object to have the setting, so basically from switching it from file store to blue store, and there would be some mechanism in this at least separate loop that would take care of updating every OSD one by one, or at least a single OSD accordingly by, well, technically destroying the disk, or at least wiping it accordingly, and then reinitializing it, for example, for blue store. I know that at least currently does not necessarily like, there will be a new blue store, maybe a red store soon, I don't know.
C store, exactly. Huh? Yeah, they're actually working on C store.
C store was the name. Ah, yeah, right. But like at least from that point on, still it's feeling like an interesting point to like have this design at the moment here. But as I said, like with this kind of summary where I'm seeing it right now, with that it wouldn't make sense to implement this in like a 1. Rook release, but more of as like a 2.0, so to say.
2.0, yeah.
Obviously with a migration path. Yeah. Yeah, any feedback on it is welcome. Any questions as well? Like I definitely at a bunch of points need to formulate it better as it is currently, but it's at least like when I thought about it, especially today, writing it, well, mostly today. It feels like something that would be a right direction, but yeah, as I said, for like a 2.0 Rook release and not like a 1.11/12, 13, 14, whatever. minor release.
Exactly. Yeah, it sounds like it'd be a big change for migration and all that. Is your doc ready for review then? If you want to put a link to it in the agenda? Or not
I
quite yet?
can link to the PR. I have uploaded it there, but mainly as to be able to better talk about it here in the meeting. Just as I'm gonna pull up the agenda. If anyone wants to take a look or just add their thoughts or anything else regarding the structure of the document, feel free to let me know. Mainly, I was trying to dump all the ideas and trying to summarize them a bit more already, and give the whole thing a different name now, which is Ceph2 more CRDs, as we already have CRDs for the Ceph things, but for my eyes, more CRDs, why not, kind of.
Yeah.
Gives it a
Okay.
better name. Let's call it a draft at the moment. If you have anything, if you want to add your thoughts or anything to it, or even concerns or whatever, feel free to do so. I'll gladly work it into this design and see if we can find some common ground for some open questions still. And at least, for example, if you go to the files and scroll down to line 65, where I have drawn up an example of a Ceph OSD object. Like this, for example, would be from my perspective, how a Ceph OSD would then look in the future, so to say. Where you have your typical stack, you have your status, and you define the things, and you have a way to override certain global options on, so to say, this granular this granularity of per OSD as well, which you obviously already kind of have with the Ceph cluster spec when you go down to nodes and devices. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see. You just barely opened this when the meeting was started. So
yeah,
I'll take a look. Now, just an initial question, maybe. I mean, I haven't read through it yet, obviously, but
please.
so how would you say it compares to if you're using a local PV where the provisioner is basically outside of Rook, and then Rook is just the consumer of those PVs, right? Is that similar to this, or how is this?
You mean for OSDs then,
different.
using existing PVs or some other storage class for OSD?
Yeah, because I mean, today in the Ceph cluster CR, you can have a storage class device set, right? And those device sets will let you specify any volume claim template, basically to provision the PVs.
It's kind of boring from that, and at least that is one thing I just need to still get written down in a better way, or even in any way at the moment. That, for example, this feature could be exactly one part to make this even more dynamic based on what the person that runs the cluster wants. Like if they specify that with a volume claim template, all the operator would do is create the amount of Ceph OSDs and add the volume claim template into it. So that it's kind of I guess, going hand in hand there.
Okay. So yeah, okay. Yeah, anyway, we'll take a look.
Would you leave any feedback, any questions or anything for that? But as it as a from a timeline perspective, this is definitely not something that will just happen for 1.12, 1.13. I really see this as more let's maybe this might be even the point where we should sit down in one of the community meetings, be what would we see as a Rook 2.0 kind of thing? What are things that we're, even from a development perspective, a bit hurting with all the time? I don't know, from a bit of my perspective, it would be interesting to have simply this logic decoupled, so that in the end you don't really worry about one OSD anymore, but that you have this control over this one OSD as well.
Yeah, okay. It'll be a long-term discussion for sure.
Yeah.
All right, I guess we can take that offline then,
Yep.
unless there's anything more there. All right,
Nothing from my side.
all right, that brings us to the end then. Blaine, anything you wanted to add to the agenda or comments?
No, I don't think I have anything. I think that document seems really interesting so far. I'm enjoying it.
Yep. Sounds good. I guess we'll call it a meeting then.
Yep.
Thanks everyone.
Yeah. Thanks.
Have a good day.